See, a lot of us take shit for granted. Like you can't take for granted. I don't know if you can see me or not. I'm gonna strive my best to make myself visual, but hopefully you can hear me. But however, we take for granted how we got here. And I'm gonna be real brief on this because you got here through what's called a photon belt. And I learned this from studying information from the Pleiadians. And when these people take these trips and get on these planes, and especially people that are rich and they go from one country to the next, they mess with what's called the photon belt or the zero time reference. And only experienced traders and travelers, that's why it's called traveling. You have to learn how to travel versus drive or move somewhere, but to travel somewhere versus moving in commerce, which is totally different. But only advanced people that know how to travel know how to secure various people when they move through the photon belt. Because if you don't have the right security when you move through the photon belt, you can cause various market crashes and even world catastrophes. So when I talk about weather manipulation, it doesn't just stop with weather. It goes into finances and things like that. And what these elitists are doing, and they're talking about these cyber attacks that China and Taiwan are exchanging and having, is this is actually, they're not telling you this, but they're having weather wars. They're not just on there attacking each other on Facebook and Google and YouTube, but they're actually on computers and software interfacing with weather through computer software, through messing with what's called the photon belt. And there's various ways to do this, and there's various ways to shield and to safeguard a person or a group of people if they're on a plane or something like that when they're moving through what's called the photon belt. Because you got to think about it like this. If you're moving through the photon belt, you got to look at it like this. When you're moving through the photon belt, it's similar to what's called the Philadelphia experiment. When you're moving through the photon belt, when you're traveling, you're moving through time. You're moving through like past, present, and future in this solid vessel, and you take that for granted. And that's lightweight only because you have security at this time. But what's happened is as these currencies and stuff like that starts to change over, the securities and the monies that people have invested in these different companies are going to start to become very volatile, almost like water, because of the fact that people are going to become traveling and the different securities are going to become tampered with. Essentially, is what's going to happen through people traveling and moving through photon belts, because you have what's called rays that protect this planet and this grid, right? So when you're traveling through this grid, through this photon belt, you start to interface with these rays, and this can cause certain catastrophes. So I'm saying this, like, don't take crystals and stuff like that for granted, like, because, and people that are shamans and stuff like that, that, may have services that they can offer you for granted and just think that they're just doing it for fun, because this helps to keep you balanced. If you are a mover and a traveler, or one that likes to visa through traveling and moving versus visa through the long hard way, which is really through rituals and shamanism, even getting into darker type of occult rituals. If you're a person that likes to move and travel through vehicles and cars, essentially is what I'm getting at, you may not be on the level, to like move like a shaman. You can still contract these different people out. And that's why you shouldn't take the spiritualists and the guru for granted. So I just wanted to point that out. Like, these elitists, when they move, watch where they're going and stuff like that. Because this is going to help you predict the market. This is how you're going to get out of your situation. Like, your situation is not based on your hands and you moving through time yourself anymore. Because we're moving into a mental realm. So you can now make money from just what you know. Not just what you have and what you have to invest, but what you have and how your skills and how you work, and what you know and how to move cutting edge of what's going to happen. Like, why are you studying metaphysics if you're not using this top flight knowledge, really, that they charge millions of dollars? I'm going to later when I start talking about pyramids, to teach people. Why are you not making money from it? So why are you not benefiting from it? However, whatever vehicle you have to use, whether it's through corporations, whether it's through sovereignty, whether it's through W-2 forms or the IRS, whatever vehicle you have, why not benefit from the knowledge is what I'm really pointing out. And knowing what's going on and being able to predict trends from just watching water, man. Just simply watching water. So I'll get back up with more. I'm going to go ahead and shut down. Thank you for listening and watching.